Had originally identified where the brains were, they had actually informed us, and we were still under the misapprehension that they needed to be found. And then they said, look out, just as I was about to put my foot on the brain. So if they'd marked it, there wouldn't have been a problem. When Katie Bender lost the top of her head, I used something like 50 odd cones to mark bits of her head that was gassed around the head. And that was the best way, because then we were able to plot out what the spray marks were and so on. So if you've got access to cones, very good. If you don't, a bit of yellow tape, I think this might be there.
Or a similar thing, just our Australian version of it. Wind power.
Then you'll have to go feed the dogs shortly, please, so that they can get tied up and out of the fire.
Yeah, as you can see, Ivan's back in the kitchen again.
Can't help it.
You can't keep a good woman down. What do you reckon? You can't keep a good woman down?
Oh, certainly not, no.
No, I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't do it for a living. I don't mind cooking.
Who says yes, yes doesn't have a catering call?
Well, if I leave you guys, I've got this one. No, it's gone off. The light has gone off. What's in that one? The spaghetti. Well.
This is where we're against the behind.
Two more to packet? Oh, yep. Well, I work on one packet feeds about 6 people. So 4 packets would feed 20. One packet is all I use for what out there. Yep. So 4 packets. At least 5, and then you can look at. I leave it with all the flames right now.
Exercise control, 218. Exercise control. We have come to the end of our search area, and the other team approach along the northern boundaries where we have searched.
We're actually missing a gap anyway, so we'll have to go through. They're not going all the way to our paper.
Say that again?
They're missing about 3 metres.
Ah, okay then.
Yeah. They're laying out papers so people
yeah,
know.
okay. What happened, just leave it for that time there, we have to pick up the difference.
Call it quick.
We've been quick.
Yeah.
You head up to basically just the edge of the road behind where we head here, sit down there, we'll have a big debrief about it. I think we'll wander up there.
Can we get before we
Do we retrieve the scientific?
a lot better than this afternoon. Mind you, the ground was a lot easier. You're actually dealing with the discovery in the subsequent search of the area after that was a bit confusing to me. We started off, we wanted to do a radial search, and we advised HQ, and then we had a slight discussion amongst ourselves and decided to close ranks and do a continue with a line search. And we didn't advise control. When we came back and returned over the site, it didn't seem right for us to be clambering up all over the site again. It seemed to me that we should have cordoned the area off. Yep. But then I figured since Scientific had arrived on site, he had control. So if he had wanted it cordoned, he would have told me. The performance of the crew was great. They made it pretty easy for me to deal with it. No, all in all, I thought it went pretty well. Still haven't found the arm. I told everybody it was a cloth arm. In fact, it was a plastic arm.
It's actually a block there, it's not. We'll go through the actual process of what you do with the discovery a little bit later on, so we'll actually go back and we'll address that. Team leader, team 2. Team leaders, I should say first team leader. Lloyd?
Good, worked well. light discipline was a bit of a problem. If you're going to wear helmet lights, then you need to be very aware that as soon as you look at someone, you're shining them in the eye. But other than that, it was a good spacing. It was a little bit of a drama, but we kept on it and it worked better.
Okay. Who was the team leader in Team C? Who took over?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, we had a dog leg which we should have fixed earlier. We did end up fixing it. The only negative thing, I think positively, I think it went fairly well. The only negative thing I've got is self-discipline and talking. Communications is about what we're doing now, not tomorrow's breakfast.
Okay. A couple of points for you from Aaron. As far as the actual deploying, I have no major dramas there. The communication can be a lot better than what it was today. Command and control, from what I can see from both the team leaders, was much better. There's a lot more control there, a lot more of the team leaders leading and taking control of their teams and running it the way they wanted to run it. Okay? So the noise we heard today was good. Tonight was good because it was definitive and it was clear. This is what I want and this is how we're going to do it. Did that come across to the team members, that the team leaders knew what they wanted and how they wanted it done?
Yeah, better communication.
Did that make the job easier for the team members which knew what was going on? Did you find it easier when the team leaders were telling you exactly what they wanted?
Yep.
Okay. And that's that communication thing coming through again. Team leaders got to communicate what they're thinking to the team. The team can't read your mind. You've got to verbalise what you want done and how you want it done. If you do that, the team will work for you and they'll work well. As team leaders, that's probably the key thing you look at, is communicating what you want or what you believe should be happening to the team. Okay. White light will address that. At the moment, how well can you guys see now about your lights?
Good.
Okay. Big natural light in the sky. Probably not a requirement for you to carry white light for most of the search. When you're doing the closed area stuff, yeah, it's a requirement for it. But maybe with the white light, not such an issue on a night like tonight. Get used to working about it because you've got better vision. And it's almost like daylight. I was writing on my notepad. I can see exactly what I've been writing down. Okay, so it's something maybe you need to have a look at. Okay, that's basically the 2 points I've only got from it as far as the team leading goes. Hopefully, you can do what you did tonight, tomorrow, when we do the searching. It'll reinforce the leadership styles that you guys have got and that you're going to be using when you go out in searches. That's it for me. Steve?
Okay, just a couple of points. With the chitter chatter, the reality is, Bob, I realise what you're saying, and for this sort of exercise purposes, yeah, it's good if you can maintain that sort of discipline. But I've been on searches where we started at 6 o'clock in the morning and finished at 9 in the afternoon, or in the night, and then started again at 5 the next morning for the same thing. And I tell you what, it's the chitter chatter about what you're going to do here and a few life stories that keeps you actually going. So, but it's got to be balanced. So we've got to remember that. With the crime scene over here, the reality is, from my experience, and I'll talk from my experience, is forensics don't like people getting in there and fiddling around or being anywhere near it. So you tape it off, and then one of two things will happen. You'll bring in great big floodlights if you can, and they will then direct whether it's going to be finger searched or what's going to happen. Or the other alternative is it gets locked down until the next day. And there's been quite a few scenes that I've been in where we've locked them down, and they've been guarded overnight until the next day when you can do something with it. Probably the worst that our rescue squad has been involved in, and I wasn't involved in it, was the plane crash of the was RMC cadets, I think it was, or ADFA cadets up in Aurora Valley. And they got to them too late on the day to do all the DVI and so on. So a couple of search and rescue guys had to stay there all night with shotguns, patrolling the dead bodies. And why were they there with shotguns?
Yeah, animals.
To stop pigs. Foxes were not a problem, pigs were the problem. And they expended something like 100 rounds of ammunition overnight to stop the pigs coming in.
Gee.
because the smell of the burnt bodies just attracted them like a flag. So it really is the call of the forensics guys and the police on the scene how serious they want to take the matter. I just want to sort of emphasise what Pockets was saying there about light. We can see so well at the moment, and we've been wandering around. If you look around, you'll see that where we are, heaps of light. Grass is really short because my lawnmowers have been out keeping it down for you. But if you're looking under the trees, you'll see that it gets darker. So quite often you'll need to produce a torch or some degree of white light to have a look in under the trees, and then if you go back to your normal light, you can actually see more. And I'm sure you'll agree that most of you had quite tunnel vision when the light was on. You were locked into where you were looking. The other thing is, and I'll get Dave to stand out here.
Me?
No, not you. I've seen you open your mouth, you can too. So get them 2 days and just walk down there in the paddock a bit. And then turn around and face it. That'll do. Who can you see more clearly?
David.
White DRA, Dave.
White one.
Is that right?
White David.
D1 as opposed to D2.
Okay. Notice how the orange overalls actually just disappear in the night time.
The bears swell and goats. And these goats will beat anybody, hands down. And they've always got 1 or 2 kids being trained up, i.e. being made alcoholic. And so the only thing is you have to buy his own beer. You probably don't buy the beer, so you buy it that guy. I'm thinking, he's just like that as he's after. He said it so fast, Fox couldn't even write it down. So let's see if he can be consistent when he says, say again. And he came back in and went, oh,
It's on the other end.
only got another 2 digits out of that. Have to get him to say it again.
Don't weigh enough, David.
72, mate. 58 kilo.
No, not working.
What? See if I can launch him into space.
You ready?
Wait a minute.
I'll look, we're on camera.
I think we've been on camera all weekend. All right. Little leverage.
Don't stick your tongue in, will you, Peter?
On the flat surface.
I'll let you do that too.
Pick it up while I want it, right?
Outstanding in his role.
Come on, I'll have you.
I'm a good participant.
This is a homemade job. $120 instead of $2,000.
Yeah.
Okay, you know the Mohawk walk? Very good. Is to get this set up, there's a little flat spot there, and get the whole team to conduct a Mohawk walk.
Get out of there, too.
So you just didn't go up for a fall. Oh, very good.
Can we go down to the grass? Can we go down to the grass?
If you want to go down there, yes. Get them all picked up and take them down there.
Oh, where's Gus?
It's only walked in this.
Come on, folks. Grab a block.
Hi-ho! Hi-ho!
Amazing how many hands make it.
Oh, he was there. I guess
That's really not what I had in mind, Dad.
Well, we're off the ground up. We've got harnesses and ropes.
That's pretty
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
We did both sides.
Right. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what we're going to do for the till morning tea time is we're actually going to have some fun. And in the process of having some fun, we're going to do some work with team dynamics, and we're also going to do some work on debriefing. Because at the end of each session, we're going to have a quick debrief. And the whole purpose of this session is actually about debriefing. If you look in your learning guide, you'll notice that there's a few words thrown in there about debriefing, and in fact they don't actually talk very much about debriefing. Debriefing is something that we don't do particularly well. We often will come in from a exercise or something, pack up our stuff and run, or we'll come in and we'll hammer all the bad points, or hammer all the good points, or hammer all the bad points, write down all the good points and not learn from our mistakes, or we'll crucify somebody and make them feel really small so they don't come back again, or we'll go, well, we're too embarrassed to try and do an honest debrief and learn some lessons out of this, so we'll just slide out the door anyway. Okay? Debriefing is a very hard thing to do, and the hardest part of debriefing is actually to take the lessons that you've learned from that exercise into the next one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a series of different exercises. What I want you guys to be thinking about is thinking about debriefing, the end of it, and good points and bad points. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use DJ as one of my training aids as well, and we'll go through a number of these different things, and we'll discuss, we'll do some debriefing and see how different debriefing techniques work as well. And at the same time you should have some fun.
shooting here for the past 6 years.
I was looking for that.
Oh, these are corporate games, aren't they? Yeah. These are corporate games with the manager and the
Well, the Mohawk Walk.
clean or get into that and get back to work. You're sacked.
Okay, if you could come sort of out of the jelly, what I need everybody to do for this activity is to just pep up that sense of fair play and fun. And if you have your imagination and it isn't turned on, if you could just go ahead and get that adjusted on this morning. The Mohawk Walk is named after a group of young Mohawk Indians who first played this game in 1972 with Carl Runke. The object of this game is for us as an entire group to cross this sea to get to the other side, and unfortunately the bank is a bit obscured on the other side. So just assume that this bank right here is obvious, and at the other side there's something very similar. The only way across this sea is on the boards that have been set up by a previous group, and if you do fall into the sea, it's really quite an issue for us, occupational health and safety wise. You will have to return to shower on this side, which is the only spot we can set the showers up. So if we could, with that imagination, please, get your shower taps on, stretch them right up there, and turn the shower taps on and just wash down really quickly. Come on, practice the motion, because this is what you're going to have to do when you actually get out on the other side. Okay, thank you. Michelle, can you get us another?
No, I'm with the cameraman. I'm down.
Come on, be in here with us. Okay, so she's shy. A little bit of safety here for us, because believe it or not, this is quite a precipice, and if you do fall off this precipice, we may never see you again. If you are on top of one of these boards, and you feel that you are about to fall off, might I suggest that the first thing to contact the ground might be the bottom of your feet rather than your head. So please remember that if I am up here, and I will demonstrate, and I'm feeling slightly unbalanced, years of training have helped me to do that. And I'll come back and look like a dick, and I'll get back on. Okay? Please do it in such a manner. So, I will be assisting from the side in giving purely safety feedback rather than any technical or activity feedback. You can walk across the top of these boards. The boards are fixed where they are. If we do try and move them, we'll have to get an engineer's report, and that will take entirely too long. You may step on this side of the board, but this bit down here has not been rated for people, so please don't step on that. Are there any questions about the activity? We have a time frame of 15 minutes, which should be plenty of time. There should be no rush whatsoever. Okay, so team, I would suggest that you quickly get to the other side in whichever way you see fit. Thank you.
Well, let's get on with it.
I'm surprised you're doing it with your fins on. Get on there, won't you?
Thank you for arriving on the other side.
Get out. You shit.
That's the worst way. It works better without the cup. Come on, shower. There we go. Well done. You're going to be a clean pond by the time I'm sorry, mate. Not a chance. When have you ever seen a clean pond? Who's driving? I think we just have to use the side. Use the side. I got to drop them off.
Jenny, what's your secret? Go quickly. Go quickly.
Don't look down. Don't look up, don't look in front of you. Pushing your feet. No team effort. No team effort. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. That's it. Wait up for me. Come on, gotta wash off. Okay. No, we did individually. That's right. Then you got to do it as a team. Stop where you can.
Yeah. They always give you this ability.
You didn't get to disagree, I've gone 3 for school or what food? Go through the truck. We should stand here. We should stand here. It's like we do a stand in the garage.
Yeah.
You're lucky you didn't get it. Hold it. Hold it. You're lucky the joist didn't come between your legs. Oh, I'll tell you, I was watching it. all I did put your hands up. Well, I tried to hold it. As soon as I did that, I went through and if I went like that, you go anchor on the pink. You say, come on. Trying to blow yourself across that ankle.
Start again. Just stand up. What you do? All the way you were holding, just by hands. Hold on to things. Keep yourself sorted by hand. Okay? Not hold it on. Go, go, go. The next person is not a Peter thing yet.
Until we get over later.
So much for all that bloody elbows. Roger. I could do this so easy at one stage, I don't know why. Sorry, Roger. Why, I mean, just tell him the way to after that. You got to right, I take the next one up. Oh, Peter! Did he wait for these things? Fourth.
When's our instructor going to show us how it's done?
Come on, Alan. No, I'll do it. He's there at the side there. Come on, you need someone. Come on. Whoa. Oh, sorry. Just put towards me to Colin. Let's go. Dominate. Okay.
Yeah, you push one, look at the...
Emily can get off in one hit. Look at this coming back.
Thank you, dear. Whoa. Come forward, Colin. Next. Just slide your feet. Don't lift it. Slide.
2, 3, 4. Heel and toe.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure.
Oops! I did it again, baby.
Yeah!
What led you through the hopelessly tangled underbrush of private security organizations to our door? Stellar word of mouth? Our fine client roster? Those flyers we put up in that public urinal?